Namo Doi Savaryantanam, Namo Doi Savaridanam, Namo Doi Savayiriyam, Namo Doi Savajayam, Namo Doi Savadivavati Savanam, Omkaramendo Sanyuktam Nityam Jayanti Yogina, Kamadam Mokshanam Chayam Karaya Namo, Manganam Bhagavanayo, Manganam Gautamam, Manganam Kunkundari, Jendram Vosumanganam Namasanasana. Swanubhutya Jatasti Swadhay Davaya Vivaho Yusanidata.
Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Haryantanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Haryanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Ujjayanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Arambindu Samyuktam Nityam Dhayanti Yoginam Kamadam Moksham Deva Omkaraya Namo Namah. Samaysaraya Swanubhutya Chakasate Chittaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Jnana Anjana Salam Jai Jirendra. Today is April 20th, 2016, and we are continuing our discussion on Samaysar Stanza 7. So here we are. Let me share the slides. Last time we were on this slide, so we just go through it quickly. Guru explains in the indivisibility form of our eternal soul substance by showing divisions of the attribute, because spoken words have extreme limitation. So ignorant soul has never experienced the indivisibility nature, and so he's been explained in the form of divisions. Explanations are done in divisions, but what Acharya Bhagwan says that the listener, us, have to understand them in the indivisibility form. Listening is division form, understanding indivisibility form. That's where we were there last time. So now it just gives the stanzas 8, which it says that which will be coming soon, hopefully. Bhasha anarya vinana samajavi sakaya anarya ne vyavahara van paramarthano upadesa em asakya. As it's not possible to explain to the uncivilized person without using his own language. Similarly, it's not possible for a lay person like us who never experienced the eternal true nature of the self. And that's why what I have experienced is anger, deceit, ego, greed, and all those things. So Acharya Bhagwan tells me from those divisional aspects, he speaks in my language. But again, he tells us that listen, listening is okay, because that's only the way, but the language is limitation. So listening is okay to listen in division form, but once you digest it, once you put into the action, once you assimilate that knowledge, then you do aim for indivisibility of the eternal soul substance. And Acharya Bhagwan says it's not that difficult if you understand the hierarchy. Having said that, now there is something called conventional point of view, that's called Vyavarnai. Actually, the conventional point of view will be greatly in depth detail. We will be discussing in stanza number 11. But here there's a mention of the conventional point of view comes. So I think we just have to do the some baseline understanding of what is conventional point of view. Conventional point of view are two different points. Conventional point of view, Vyavaharnai, can be perceived in two different ways. One, this pen belongs to me. Pen is separate, I am separate. Two things are separate, and I said, this belongs to me, me. So I put mineness, this is me, my authority I impose on this pen and just say it's mine. For a while, this pen was lost. I was kind of unhappy. Now I got it. I'm kind of happy because I have dependency on it. I have put my attention to this pen. So two different things, Pudgal, matter, me, conscious nature, and I just said this is mine. How can it matter be mine? So that is called Asadbhut Vyavarnai, or impure synthetic conventional point of view. Their words are there. You have to get accustomed to these words because they'll be coming in the scripture time to time. When we come to that 11th stanza, Gurudev throws extreme amount of weight in all these things because that's only the way I can understand who am I. I want to know who am I. When I go to the temple, this temple is mine. My Bhagwan looks so great. I impose my authority on those entities. My car, my house, my family, my business, my money, my body, everything mine. That is impure, synthetic, conventional point of view, means asadbhut vyavarne. Sat means real. Sad means real. Asad means non-real. One which is not a real. Is this really mine? When it was lost, when I wanted to use a pencil, I felt that, oh, I lost something. But did my life come to an end just because this pen was lost? No. My life will come to an end if my hard disk get lost or stolen or just crashes? No, life keeps on going. So when I impose myself on the alien object, that's a asadbhut vyavarne. That's a one way of telling conventional point of view. To have two different entities, matter and soul, to consider as one. So that's called conventional point of view. Vyavaharne. Second part is there is a something which is indivisible. Eternal soul substance is indivisible. And to make division of those indivisible substance is called pure synthetic conventional point of view, or sadbhut vyavarne. Why sadbhut? Sadbhut means sad means to be present. I have a knowledge within me. I have a faith within me. I have a conduct attribute within me. I have eternal existence attribute within me. I have all this attribute within me, but they are in indivisible form. And I consider them as a divisional aspect. Any indivisible form to consider in the divisional form is also called conventional point of view. So 2 points we have. Two things, entirely separate existence to consider as one is a conventional point of view, and one indivisible thing to consider as division. That's also conventional point of view. And here we are talking this conventional point of view, Sadbut Vyavarne we are talking about, because I'm saying I have a knowledge attribute, I have a conduct attribute, I have a faith attribute, I have all this attribute within me, I divide them. And that's why it's a conventional point of view. Because my language is a limitation, because Acharya Bhagavan has a limitation with the language, so he has to divide and tell us. But again, he tells us, remember, I'm telling you from divisional aspect, but you have to grab it, experience it in the form of indivisibility. So understanding, listening is a Sadbut Vyavarne, but understanding and putting into the action and getting engrossed within is going to be indivisibility. So that's why this convention point of view, we threw it in over here, because that gives some idea to this. Asadbut Vyavarna is very easy to understand. My car, okay? I can't live without my car, okay? Tomorrow I have parked the car and some truck hits the car and car becomes total. Yeah, I become unhappy, but then what? My life doesn't stop. I get a new car and everything, and life keeps on going. So that's a impure synthetic conventional point of view is easy to understand. But this pure synthetic conventional point of view, Sadbut Vyavarna, is taking little time for us to understand. I'm doing meditation. I am the soul. I am the soul. I am the soul. That kind of reflective thought I have, that is also conventional point of view, Sadbut Vyavarna. So there also, it's a Vyavarna, conventional point of view is conventional point of view. There is no experiencing in the conventional point of view. So I can do the meditation. I can sit down for an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 5 minute, 10 minute, whatever time. But that is also conventional point of view. And from there, I have to go to the primary abstract comprehension, nirvikalpta. That is the aim ultimately. These are the steps. This Asadbut Vyavarna will come on my way of spirituality, but then I have to give it up. Sadbut Vyavarna will come on my way to spirituality, but I have to try to ignore that one, and ultimately I have to go for indivisibility, nature of the soul substance. So partial point of view, what do they teach us? Now, for example, to consider charity, compassion, austerity, observing vows, etc., are known as impure synthetic conventional point of view, or Sadbut Vyavarna. Remember here, this guy, Asadbut Vyavarna, that's what all these things are. Charity, compassion, austerity, observing, all these things that I perform day to day, every day. But they are impure synthetic conventional point of view, Asadbut Vyavarna. I should know that part. It doesn't, Gurudev says, we don't say that don't do charity, compassion, austerity, or do everything. But one has to understand that that's my stepping stone. That is not my end. That's a means. People understand that this means as an end, and that is the biggest mistake. So understanding is important. Now, okay, this bullet says charity is a Asadbut Vyavarna. So why should I give charity? Now I'm going to take that kind of idea, that kind of attitude. That means I'm a thief. Why thief? Because I don't want to give even charity to the worthy cause. And then I just I hide behind the scriptural input and say, look, conventional point of view, it's a conventional point of view, and that is not right. So one should not do that. Act are different and understanding are different. Asadbut Vyavahar Nahi is understanding in the knowledge. Acting of charity, compassion, austerity, observing, you will automatically perform. When you're on the path of spirituality, it will automatically happen to you. So you don't have to hide behind this kind of argument and stop doing charity, stop doing compassion, stop doing austerity and all those things. To consider knowledge, faith, conduct, etc., attributes in divisional form is pure synthetic conventional point of view, Sadbut Vyavahar Nahi. Before we go to that this bullet, remember here it doesn't say that anger, deceit, ego, greed, and my possessions of a car, business, money, it did not say that. Those are already inauspicious things. They are already pap activities. They have not been considered. But even considering charity, compassion, austerity, these are the right thing. If I'm doing all these things, then I'm being called in the society, I'm a good dharmic guy. I'm a religious person. And then I said, oh yeah, I'm on the right track. No, I'm on the right track, but it is a conventional point of view, only considering them as the end point. I'm not going to make it. It is a path towards to the end. Knowledge, faith, conduct, etc. attributes in divisional form is known as pure synthetic conventional point of view. This bullet's the same as a previous bullet. Third one, to consider eternal soul substance in the indivisible form is an absolute point of view, nishchay nahi, and that's where the experiencing comes. So we have to see how the steps are going. Anger, deceit, ego, greed are not considered because they are not part of me. But charity, compassion, austerity, those are auspicious activity I perform. I should be aware that that's a conventional point of view. Even when I'm quote unquote meditating, when I'm reflecting upon myself, there is I just remember that I have a soul, I'm the knowledge, I'm the faith, I'm conduct. That is also conventional point of view. Ultimately, when I go beyond these two bullets and go within my eternal soul substance and experience, that is called absolute point of view. Again, we are going a little bit faster on this one because a lot more discussion will come in the 11th stanza, in which very greatly Gurudev has explained all these things. So, what happened here? Okay. To look at the infinite attribute in the divisional form, we call this one as a conventional point of view. This is the reason that inclination of attachment is generated in the transmigratory soul. Remember, inclination of attachment, rag. How is a rag generated? Just because I have affinity with this pen, that's why there is rag. That's a very crude form of rag. The final point of rag is within me when I'm looking at the infinite attributes in the divisional aspect. If you understand, if you remember the Kshamapna that we do every night, Jem hu suksma vicharthi undo utruchu tem tamara tatvana chamatkaro mara swarupno prakash kare she. What does it mean? When I am deeply getting engrossed within me and I'm in the reflective thought process, I'm just doing meditation and I don't have any other ideas about the whole world. I'm just concentrating. I'm the soul. I have the knowledge. I have the faith. I have the conduct. I'm the Suddhatma. I'm the pure soul. I'm the perfect soul. I'm the peaceful soul. When I talk that one, or I think about that one, there is also conventional point of view. Of course, one has to go through that phase, but we have to be aware of that part. Then, omniscient Lord. The second bullet. So while I'm looking at the divisional or in the thought process, then inclination of attachment is generated. Rag is produced. So જેમ જેમ હું સૂક્ષ્મ વિચારથી ઊંડો ઉતરું છું, when I keep on thinking and engrossment within myself only with this kind of deep thoughts, that is also producing rag to me. It produces inclination of attachment, which proportionately it gives me bondage of karma. Sure, it gives me auspicious bondage of karma, but bondage of karma occurs. Now, said what happened to omniscient Lord? He also knows attributes in division as well as indivisible form. So what happened to omniscient Lord? Then Gurudev says he does not have inclination of attachment because he has gone beyond the 12th spiritual developmental stage. He has gone through Kshina Moha. Means his more means his deluding karma are total. His deluding state has totally gone away. Because he has no deluding state, means he has no likes or dislike. So if he sees the attribute in divisional form or indivisible form, there is no inclination of attachment because he has washed out that one completely from his system. So this is a difference. Okay, omniscient Lord is sitting down and I am sitting down, and omniscient Lord is seeing the attribute in the divisional form. Omniscient Lord perceives the attribute in the divisional form, and I'm also thinking about the attribute in the divisional form because I still have deluding state. That's why I have inclination of attachment. That's why I have a karma bondage. Omniscient Lord does not have any deluding state at all. That means he has no inclination of attachment. So even though he is seeing in the divisional aspect along with the indivisible form, he has no rag generated. So that's a thing that we have to understand. Thinking in divisional aspect is not bad, but thinking in divisional aspect along with the deluding state being present within me, that's a reason for me to have rag getting generated. Omniscient Lord has taken away the deluding state completely. He has gone beyond the 12th stage. He is on 13th spiritual development stage. He is on Keval Gnan state. And him and Siddha Bhagavan, they are perceiving attribute in the indivisible as well as divisional form, but there is no bondage of karma, there is no inclination of attachment because they have removed their deluding state completely. So that's a very important distinction that we have to understand. Question from the student that he says, in general, conventional point of view means non-entity. Means if this is the pen, this is non-entity, this existence of the pen is not there in my soul's existence. My soul has certain area, certain innumerable space point, and that is the action potential for the soul. This pen has its own area and its own space point, and entirely separate from me. So it's called avastu, means it's called non-entity. So what the student is raising question, in general, conventional point of view means non-entity, things not being present within me. Then he says, even when one considers five supreme being, five supreme personality, they are also non-entity within me because five supreme beings are here and I am over here. So they are having their own sphere of action. I have my own sphere of action. They both are entirely different. So Pancha Parameshti, they are separate from me. So that is also conventional point of view. Now student is getting kind of very interesting. So he says, the attributes are present within me now. Remember, all this pain, etc. states are away from me, understand? Even omniscient lords and holy scripture and enlightened monks, they are also away from me. Okay, I can understand. But attributes are within me, then how come these attributes are considered as empirical point of view or conventional point of view? That is his very learned question coming out from the learned student. So answer, my bullets are going crazy. Oh, so answer given by enlightened monk, Kunkun Swami gives the answer. Indivisibility of the attributes are made primary in nature. Remember, I have an infinite attributes, but they are made primary, they are made secondary, and indivisibility is made primary. Quick example, if you can take it. Mango is there. Mango is a color attribute, taste attribute, a touch attribute. So from the taste attribute perspective, color attribute perspective, touch attribute perspective, I can see that this mango is ripe and this mango is not ripe. How come I made the division? This is a green color, hard to touch, and when I taste it, it's a sour taste. So it's an unripe mango. Over here, orange color, smell is sweet, taste is sweet, and touch is soft. So this mango has to be a ripe one. So I made that from the attribute perspective, I decided this is unripe mango, this is ripe mango. Same way, Gurudev used to say, Tu Paramatma che em nakki kar pratham pratham. Means he tells me, I am the God, I am the God. I have to convince myself. I am the indivisible, eternal soul substance, same as a Siddha Bhagwan. Because indivisibility of the attribute within me, that's what I'm making it primary. And divisional aspects are there, present there, but they are made secondary. How to make primary and secondary? If I'm watching one TV show, at the same time, there is a noise going in the surrounding, there's a music going in the next door, there's a car passing through the street and everything. Everything is happening, but my primary aim is watching the TV, I'm watching the ball game, I'm so engrossed in that one that even though everything is coming to my ears, those noise are coming, sounds are coming, but I made them secondary. Only the announcer making the score, only the announcer making the commentary, I'm concentrating on that. So I made that one as a primary, I made everything else secondary. I'm going to work, I'm on the freeway. How many cars are passing by me? Hundreds and thousands. How many cars I remembered? I saw every car passing by, but I never paid attention. My aim is to go to work. At certain exit I have to take it, and certain time I have to reach there. That is my primary aim. So even though cars are passing by, I make them a secondary. So we do that one in daily life, making something primary, making something a secondary. See, same way here. I make the indivisibility as a primary because they are within me, and secondary as a divisional aspect to be made secondary. Guru wants to show indivisibility of the attribute within the soul substance. So he gives us discourses. Here the division of attributes are simply made secondary and not as non-entity. Remember, this pain is having non-entity within the sphere of my soul's action potential. But these attributes are within me, and because they are within me, there are two phases, indivisibility and divisibility. So I made division as secondary and indivisibility as primary. Soul substance as an object of faith is always considered in the form of indivisibility. Remember, when I have a faith attribute has only two possible modification. Either faith is directed to the alien objects of the universe, or the faith in the indivisible form is directed to my eternal soul substance. I cannot have faith directed to my eternal soul substance as well as to the alien objects. I cannot have both. Either or. Either it's alien object or my eternal soul substance. So my eternal soul substance, when faith is directed, that faith is indivisibility in nature. Taking aim away from the divisional aspect makes it easier for one to concentrate on the eternal, indivisible aspect of the soul. So what is the process that I'm going to pass through? I'm reading the scripture. I listen to the lectures of the Gurudev and listen to the lectures of the enlightened souls and everything. We discuss among each other. We get clarification of our doubts and everything. Now that I know what is the real structure and function of the soul, I try to meditate on it. Means I kept on reflecting upon it. I kept on analyzing that fact all the time. And now I made the solid, undisputed aim that this is the real nature of the soul substance. Till now, it is called inclination of attachment. Then I go from this thought process to the thoughtless process, which is called primary abstract comprehension. Means it is nirvikalpa, and that nirvikalpa is an experiencing of the soul, and there at that time I'm experiencing eternal indivisible nature of the soul substance. So that's the answer that true teacher gave to us. To know the attributes in division form is known as conventional point of view. In general, convention means non-entity. Conventional point of view means just like this pen is non-entity within me in general. But in case of attribute, they do exist in the soul substance. They are real entity. They are not avastu. They are not non-entity. They are real entity. Only the thing, I just have to perceive them in the indivisible form. And that's why the putting the aim on the divisional aspect, the convention point of view, experiencing in the indivisible form is an absolute point of view. And again, we are not putting much time on this one because, as I said, great detail will be coming, and we'll have a great understanding going on at the time when we come to 11th stanza. With faith directed to eternal soul substance, then it is primary and division aspect becomes secondary, that we talk already. To make division aspect secondary is a conventional point of view. Attributes are real entity but are simply made a secondary, sure. And if the division aspect of attributes are considered, then rag is generated. If I have divisional aspect attitude, then inclination of attachment is generated, and that is no, because that's a rag. When there is rag, there is no vitragta. When there is inclination of attachment, then there is no primary abstract comprehension. So there are two different animals, and I want to be in this side, not on this side. This is my inclination of attachment side. This is my primary abstract comprehension side. This is nirvikalpa. This is vikalpa. Vikalpa and nirvikalpa are entirely two separate things. Rag is generated when attention is to the alien object. When I'm putting my attention to this pen, then the rag is generated, and because this is a non-entity, this rag is generated. Now, this rag is also generated when I'm looking at the divisional aspect. But this divisional aspect are real entity also. So inclusive attachment means rag, means attention to the divisional aspect of an attribute. It's a real entity. Attention to the alien objects, that's called non-entity. Vastu and avastu. The inclusive attachment is divided into two parts, vastu and avastu, and that's what we already talked in the previous slide. So faith directed to soul with its indivisibility, then it's absolute point of view. Faith directed to infinite attribute with their divisions, there is conventional point of view, simple way of understanding. This is the extreme microscopic concept which is telling us what is conventional point of view, what is absolute point of view. Here actually, I have engrossed. I'm engrossed in the sense that's all I think is a soul substance, soul substance. I'm the soul, I'm the soul, I'm the soul. That's all I think. And I'm the soul with knowledge. I'm knowledge. I'm Gnayak. I'm knowing. I have knowing capacity. That's all I do it. But still, it's a conventional point of view. To somebody else's view, oh my God, this guy's a religious person. No, within me, I know it. Till I come to this indivisibility part, till I have the absolute point of view, everything is not correct. In the sense, in comparison to the soul with its indivisibility, all these things are getting less important. Of course, when I'm at this point, it is very important for me to maintain that, and ultimately a fine moment will occur that I'll be able to slip, I'll slip down into this indivisibility nature, and that is called nirvikalpta, that is called primary abstract comprehension. This is called reflective thought process. So this is called vikalp, this is called nirvikalp. So that's Gurudev has brought it to the extreme minute level for us, and Kunkun Swami has shown that path to us 2000 years back, and that's what it is. And yesterday and tomorrow are two important days in our life occurring here right now. Yesterday was Mahavir Janma Kalyanak Day. We all celebrated Mahavir Janma Kalyanak Day. But on the same day, Chaitra Sud Teras, Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami was in the Songad, and there was a small building. Small building means one and a half bedroom type of thing. And that building is no more than 300, 400 square feet size probably. And he sat there on that Chaitra Sud Teras day, and he took his mupatti out and says, I'm giving up my so-called monkhood because that's not the right path. My right path is to go within. So that important thing he decided that particular day. So that day is very important for us to know. And tomorrow is an actual birthday of Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami from date perspective. 21st April was his date of birth. So we have yeah.
I like the way you said that. So I'll ask the question that I'm sure is on everybody's mind. What is the difference between monkhood and going within? Is there a real difference?
Yes. Monkhood, remember what Gurudev Sri told monkhood, and when he gave up mupatti was it's called Dravyaling. Dravyaling means external clad. He had all the external manifestations for the monks were present within him. Traditional monk, not the pure Digambar monk that even Srimadji described in the Apurva Avsar. Nagna Bhava Munda Bhava Saha Asnanta Adanta Dhovan Adi Parama Prasiddha Che Kesa Roma Nakhake Ange Srungara Nahi. Those are the signs of the external clad monk. And when Gurudev was also having the clothes on and Mupati etc. on, so he said that is the external clad monkhood, and I'm giving up because that is not the monkhood that Kunkun Swami and Lord Mahavir Swami propagated. So I'm good, and I am becoming Shravak that day onward. So he declared that he is no more sadhu, he is a Shravak that day onwards, And he then propagated the principles that try to go within by understanding who you are. What is the reality? So he kept.
Isn't that monkhood? Isn't that monkhood?
No. Yeah. But what it is, he kept on saying that, remember, if I have Samyak Darshan, which I have it, then it is on the 4th spiritual development stage only, and I continue my personal effort, I continue my Purusharth as much as possible to go deeper, to go 5th and 6th and 7th Gunsthana. So he continues to try to go to that point. So his process already started at the time. And because he gave this kind of so much of loaded information to the spirituality, when the whole Jainism was engrossed into the rituals, he put the extreme weight on the knowledge aspect, then the rituals. He said, if you understand all this thing, rituals will come automatic. You don't have to force yourself. So he tried to do that one, but he was very clear and mentioned several places that if you consider I'm the monk, no, I'm not. I would like to be that state. I would like to become like Kunkun Swami. And I'm working on it. That's what he was telling all the time.
Kirit bhai,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Bhagwan Samaysarama એવું કીધું છે કે દ્રવ્યલિંગી સાધુ ભગવાનના સમાવસરમાં દ્રવ્યલિંગી સાધુ નહોતા.
Well, they may or may not be there, but all the monks, they were there. They were naked monks. I mean, see, now we are going into the tradition. I mean, in the Sampradayikta.
No, we are not. I'm asking simply, it can be Digambar Dravyalingi Sadhu.
Yeah, it could be there too. Yes, that's true. Because what Gurudev kept on saying, several places he has said.
I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, correct me. So I'm trying to understand. So Gurudev Kanji Swami said, I am giving up the monkhood because it's not a Digambar monkhood.
It is not the real monk. Monk means. Number one, no, 2 reasons. Number one, he said the real monkhood, even the external clad will not have any clothes. Only the possession he has is his body only. That's it. So, and that too, because he can't give up the body. So, body is becoming his possession. Only the thing. And remaining 2 things, he has it, Kamandal and Pichi, more pinch and Kamandal. What are those things meant for? Not for his personal use, but to make sure that when he's walking, that not a single kind of a living being can be crushed because of his carelessness. So he uses that more pinch only for protecting the other lives. And Kamandal, he's using the water when he has an excreta or urination just to make sure that gets disposed properly. That's what he used Kamandal. He doesn't use Kamandal to drink water. So you are saying, Kirit,
you are saying it's because it was not a Digambar Diksha, he gave it up. Yes. Then if he wanted to continue the monkhood, he could have taken the Digambar Diksha.
Yes, he could have done that. Yes. So, what he did was to go through this one, and he said, I have to continue my process of purification. And remember, how many years of reading, writing, and reading, meditating, and all the things, we are doing it for a long, long time. And again, it's not that I'm doing or you are doing it because somebody asked you to do it. We are doing with our own liking, own intentions. And still, it takes time. Mahavir Swami, when he is a Tirthankar, when he is in the monkhood state, it took 12.5 years for him to remain engrossed non-stop in his eternal soul substance engrossment for 48 minutes non-stop. It took 12.5 years for him. So even
Diksha.
No, Diksha was there since 30 to 72 years of age.
Correct.
Yeah, but during monkhood also, before Keval Gnan, he has to do the intense personal self-effort for 12.5 years to remain engrossed in the eternal true nature of the soul non-stop for 48 minutes. Now, if Bhagwan takes 12.5 years, it's going to take some time for us too, right? So those are the things that we have to think about, that why he did not take Diksha, why he did not do it. Personal efforts are going within so much. It's going on. So when he was having the Samyak Darshan, he said 4th, and thereafter it was a 5th Gunsthanak he was on. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Bhagwan said, ભગવાને એવું કીધું છે ક્યાં કે છઠ્ઠું ગુણ સ્થાનક આવે પછી દીક્ષા લેવાની?
No. Yeah, I mean, see, if you go through the Gunsthanak books and everything, what it says, first you realize your soul. When I realize my soul within for a fraction of a second, that's called Samyak Darshan. That's called 4th spiritual development stage. Now, when I come out of the Nirvikalpa, when I come back to Vikalp Dasha, then I said, my God, I am extreme super sensuous bliss I experience. I want to go back again. So I make my personal effort intensify. And scripture says, generally, 4th Gunsthanak person will experience a soul in maybe every 3 to 4 months for a fraction of a second or only. That's it. So now that you intensify your personal effort, go to 5th spiritual development stage, and you are a Shravak. Now you have the Anantanubandhi Krodman Maya Lobh are gone. Apratyakhani Krodman Maya Lobh are gone. So now you have more purity. Now you are able to go within yourself maybe every 15 days or something. And when you're a 6th, and this is the 5th Gunsthanak, then there are scriptures, there are 11 steps, it's called 11 Pratima for Shravak, that he start tightening the screw around, and he just narrows down his external influences, and there are 11 steps are mentioned. At the end of 11 steps, he ultimately gives up all his clothes and everything. He doesn't give up, it just goes away. It just like this, the snake taking the skin away, same way his clothes are also disposed of. And now he enters the 6th and 7th Gunsthanak, which is called monkhood, real monkhood. And that too, you know what, I can also do that, or one can do that. But if I don't have experience of myself and I become naked monk and Adanta Dovan and the Kesa Roman Nakake Ange Sunga, I do all those things. But if I don't have experiencing the soul, then those things are not beneficial to me. And this kind of 6th Gunsthanak monk, who is a naked monk, external clad, Dravyalingi. How many times I may have done it? Infinite times, scripture says. And still, I did not achieve Samyak Darshan, because I did not understand the reality. And that's what Gurudev kept on saying, that try to understand, understand, understand. Put your attention, focus down to the understanding only. Once you understand, then you know that even this stage also, when I am seeing them infinite attribute with the divisional aspect, that is also conventional point of view. That is not a Samyak Darshan. Only absolute point of view with my faith directed the soul with its indivisibility. That is only my experiencing the soul. That is called Nirvikalta. That's called Samyak Darshan. And now I'll be able to proceed from 4th to 5th to 6th to 7th to 12th and 13th and beyond. So those are the things that one has to keep understanding that part. That's why he kept on saying, he kept on hitting a hammer so hard that understand the reality. Let's say that if I start doing this one, that I'm going in meditation and I'm just sitting down in my house doing nothing but just close my room and that's all I do, people will say, oh my God, this guy is a religious person. He's not, because he has not attained the absolute point of view yet. These are only Vikalp Dasha. So whatever the internal purity is there, external purity is reflected. But other way around is not true. External clad monk is there does not mean he may be internal clad also. Does not mean that he is having a 6th and 7th gunsthana. So those are things that one has to understand. We as a soul, we have gone through the stages of that external clad monk, and we observe all the 28 primary virtues in absolute perfection without experiencing the soul. And so at the end, we end up going to 9th Graivak Moksha, 9th Graivak Devgati. Graivak means Neck dwelling of heavenly angels, which is the highest form of angels in Mithyatva Dasha. And then we have come back from there. So those are the things that we have to understand, that we are not on the right track yet, you know. We are going on the right track, but I have not achieved the experiencing. Of course, whatever I'm doing, I have to continue, but I have to continue on the right track and not to get distracted by so many things, push and pull and everything occurring. And that is a challenge that I have it in this life. We have a challenge. And with this kind of guru that we have it, we will accept the challenge, we'll pass the challenge.
I think I've asked you this before, but I guess I'll ask it in a different way.
Yeah.
How can you have such intense vairagya that a muni will have, or a sadhu will have, or somebody who's so deeply committed and given all their effort and dedication to such a path?
Yeah.
How can that kind of vairagya exist in the absence of something else? I don't understand. How is that possible? Is that just Shubhav? I mean, I don't understand how that's possible.
There's an intense Shubhav. Intense Shubhav, and I think that is my achievement. And that's what I think, that I'm doing the extreme amount of penance. I have given up my clothes. I'm just standing in the sun, and I'm standing in the cold and everything.
But Kirit, that's not vairagya. That's rag for punya. Here's my question. Okay, yeah. When you come across somebody who doesn't need anything because they don't want anything.
Yes.
Okay. That's vairagya. That's not rag for punya. There's a big difference there. So here's my question. X out rag for punya, because rag for punya is still rag. Okay. X that out for a second. Say you have somebody. And you know, so many of these munis, so many of these sadhus, they have such such non-need for anything.
Yes.
How is any of this possible unless you've deeply internalized and truly believe in all of this? I don't understand I don't see how that could just be Shubha.
Okay. Now you know what? And what you are presenting, and that way, I get out into the society, and I said, okay, this guy has a Samyak Darshan, this guy doesn't have it, this Muni doesn't have it, this Muni has it, and I start labeling them. But who am I? I'm acting as if I'm the omniscient Lord, know everything, and then I know that, okay, you have Samyak.
I'm not, I'm not doing that, because I actually want to believe. I look at all this Vairagya out there, and I'm so encouraged, and I want to believe that there's something else there, that, where there is smoke, there's fire. That's what I want to believe. And I'm trying not to be the judgmental person.
But in general, people are judgmental. Remember, the Shayopsham of the Gnan, the knowledge, the capacity of expressing that knowledge is one thing, and experiencing, going to Nirvikalpa is another thing. They're two separate things. And when in the general society, when we see somebody who is a great orator and everything, and we just say, oh my God, he has something like this, we start labeling all the things. So we should not. And again, by knowing all these things, what is most important thing that I have to understand, that am I one of this person on the false path? I don't want to worry about somebody else. Of course, anybody having a good attribute, I have to accept that one, and I have to just praise that attribute, and I wish I had that attribute within me, and I should do that. I should not be the judgmental and say, no, you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong. No, I should not. If the dog is there, he's barking, but does he have faithfulness to the master? Then do I have that faith to my master? So from the dog I have to learn that one also. So if there's somebody is there who is on the path of spirituality and everything, and I don't have that one, I should just do the pramod. Pramod means I have to just accept and praise that attribute that person has it. And can I imbibe that one? I have to be self-centric, to be looking at me only, and not to worry about who else is doing what, when, why, how. So, I mean, but everybody's wrong? I'm not saying that. Are everybody right? I don't say that, because I'm not judgmental. I don't have that kind of a judgment-making capacity, because I'm still not on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th Gunsthanak right now. So we have to understand that part and keep going. Who says what? I don't want to worry about it. But if everything was so simple, so easy, then Mahavir Swami should not take 12.5 years. He should have taken monkhood and go directly to the Keval Gnan. Why it didn't happen to him? Because
I'm not suggesting that it's easy. It's just that, and I'm not even talking about people who speak well, because you know what, speaking well could be unrelated. Having a lot of knowledge could be unrelated. Having a lot of talent in understanding these concepts could be unrelated. None of this stuff could necessarily. All this stuff may be assigned to Swakshan, for all you know. But the one thing that to me seems not replicable, unreplicable, and unexplainable by anything else that at least my brain can process, in a world where you have such enormous comforts and so many things out here to please every sense and satisfy every need, when you have some of these people out there who don't need anything else but themselves, who don't talk to anybody, who don't interact with anybody, who don't have anything, and just spend all of their time inside, I can think of no other understanding or explanation or any other concept that can make me understand what's going on with them except for this. And I don't care. To me, it doesn't matter what they're wearing. It doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't matter what their name is. I don't even care. But I can think of no other explanation than maybe they found something better. That's just my concept.
The Digambar scripture there mentions that if the internal purity is to the highest peak, then external clad will follow. It will be automatically will be there. For example, if you are a doctor and making round in the hospital, you have the aura with your knowledge and your actions and the way you speak and everything, people will know that you are a doctor. Because so the external cladding occurs according to your internal changes. So internally, there is extreme purity, external clad will occur accordingly. But reverse is not true. So that's what Gurudev kept on saying, that you keep in mind that reverse is not true, that if somebody is a naked saint, doesn't mean that he may, doesn't mean in the sense, he said that you understand your side. Who am I? What is my duty? What I had to do? How I had to do it? How other people have done it? How can I follow that? And that's only the aim one has to have it.
You mean it's necessary but not sufficient?
Yes, definitely. I think we have a couple of more slides remaining for this one to finish. So can we take 5-10 minutes extra, if you don't mind?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that way we can finish this seventh stanza here, Self-compassion, Swadhaya. See, now Swadhaya comes. Giving up attention to the alien being and redirecting faith to the eternal indivisible soul is known as self-compassion. When we say daya, when we say compassion, if I see a animal getting, somebody's hungry, I give them food to them. I make sure that my food doesn't fall on any insect or anything. That is called compassion towards the alien object. But real compassion means to have the engrossment within and to take the attention away from the alien object. That's called real compassion. That's called Swadhaya. To know the self with divisional aspect of the infinite attribute produces influence of attachment to transmigrated soul. This is violence to the self. Whenever I have a rag, when the rag is generated, that is violence towards my soul, because my soul is vitrag. My soul is passionless. So even the reflective thought, that's called violence to myself. Kshana kshana bhayankar bhava marane ka aho rachi roho. What is that kshana kshana bhayankar bhav maran? Means each moment, whenever I am in the deluded state, that means I am killing the potential of my soul, and that's a violence towards myself. That's called Swadhaya. Quickly here, transmigrated soul having presence of influence of attachment, that's us, knows the division aspect of the attribute, and that's because of reflective thoughts they are generated, that's vikalp, and so influence of attachment is generated. We have talked this one in great detail. Omniscient Lord knows the divisional as well as indivisibility aspect of soul. He is in primary abstract comprehension, nirvikalpa, all the time, and so there is no influence of attachment to him. Having said that, I think we may be one more slide or two more slides are remaining. Right faith is directed to my eternal soul substance. How to obtain primary abstract comprehension, nirvikalpa? As long as one is with toxic emotions, means ragadi jeev, then each time attention is directed to divisional aspect, rag is produced. You should make eternal indivisible soul substance as primary and divisional aspect as secondary. And this is the reason for one to get primary abstract comprehension, nirvikalpa. So how can I get nirvikalpa? So all the things we may have to do, I gave up that thing, I gave up this thing, I'm giving up this one, and all those things, I have no interest in this side, I have no interest in all those things I have done. Finally, when I'm coming down, so ultimately, my aim is to have indivisible nature of the eternal soul substance, and that will give me the primary abstract comprehension, nirvikalpa. And this is the essence of Jainism, that's it says. Knowing action is not the reason for knowing. When I know something, doesn't mean it's a rag. In transmigration, in Sansari Jeev, there is toxic emotion. Their kashais are there. In this state, when the kashais are present, then he knows from one thing to other thing, and he has rag produced. I'm looking at my pen. From there, I'm looking at this pencil lead and everything. So my upyog went from pen to the lead. So that means my rag is generated, because there is a influence of attachment is present, because I have toxic emotions present. So my thought process produces rag. In complete dispassion state from 11th gun sthanak onwards, there is no toxic emotions present. At this time, even he knows division and indivisibility, but he has no rag and dvesh, because there is no deluding state present at all from 11th gun sthanak onwards, 11, 12, 13, 14 and beyond. He is all knower and knows the divisional aspect as well as indivisibility aspect, and he knows the alien object as well as self object also. And he becomes all knower only, and knower and perceiver, but not doer. Swapar me beda bed thi jane che. He knows the self and the alien object, 11, 12, 13 and 14, and Siddha Bhagwan knows the division as well as indivisibility, and he knows, but there is no influence of attachment produced. One decides that while looking at the object, then rag is produced. Furthermore, brings attention to the eternal soul, then nirvikalpa is generated. When knowledge gets assimilated, then one ends up going within his true nature of the self. When all this knowledge, I got it now I get reflect upon that knowledge, I imbibe on that knowledge, I keep on reciting on it, I keep on having the again and again and again solidification of that knowledge, then ultimately it will help me to go within. Till one reaches complete, pure, passionless state, he has to take refuge in the eternal, indivisible, true nature. Once he obtains the complete passionless state, he does not need to take refuge in any partial point of view. He is now forever immense in a pure state. He has no impurity within. This is 11, 12, 13, 14 and Siddha Bhagwan state. And so these are the same thing coming again. And basically, that's the end of our stanza that we are just taking for so long, so many times. I think we are last 2 months or 2.5 months, maybe more. We have done this 7 stanza. So what we have learned so much, in just nutshell, if you have to say, I want to obtain nirvikalpa, so I had to come to the vikalp state only for the eternal soul substance. I have to reflect upon myself. I have to concentrate on that one. Still, it's a vikalp state, and ultimately, my faith attribute says, "Wait a second, where can I go?" And knowledge says, "I decided that this is the place to be. We have to rest in the eternal soul substance." So then, faith comes on the eternal soul substance, and that very moment, the knowledge becomes samyak jnana also. The faith becomes samyak darshan also, and that is the beginning of the journey till the end. That means a moksha. Any questions so far?
Yes, Kirit bhai, મારે એક ક્વેશ્ચન છે,
Yeah, go ahead.
પણ ગાથાને રિલેટેડ નથી અને તમે એનો જવાબ પછી મને મોકલશો તો ચાલશે.
No, go ahead. It's okay. As long as
આત્મસિદ્ધિનું ગાથા 90 છે અને ગુરુદેવ રાકેશભાઈના જે વિવેચન છે ને એવું maybe I can send you a picture, 78 પેજ પર છે.
78, okay, all right.
એ કહે છે કે તેમ પરમાત્મા સ્વરૂપ એવા આત્માને નીજ સ્વરૂપ સંબંધી ભ્રમ છે, પરંતુ જ્ઞાન દ્વારા તે ભ્રમની નિવૃત્તિ થતા શુભાશુભ ભાવ છેદાય છે અને પરમાત્મા સ્વરૂપ આત્મા પર્યાયમાં અને પરમાત્મા સ્વરૂપ આત્મા પર્યાયમાં પરમાત્મા બને છે. આ જે પર્યાયમાં પરમાત્મા બને છે એ મને સમજ નથી પડતી. મે બી Amna, if you are busy, you can tell me later.
I mean, if you don't mind hanging around, I don't mind. We'll just
okay,
because that's what we talked in 6th stanza. See what it is. The soul has a substance. It's an inert. Attributes are inert. Only action occurs in the modifications in the paryay only, right? So paryay is a driving force in the soul. Of course, it remains only for transient one samay only, but paryay is the one where the action occurs. Now, this paryay, we talk Gnan paryay now. We talk Gnan paryay, which is like a mirror. Gnan paryay is like a mirror. So what it is, my mouse is getting reflected upon there. My hard disk getting reflected upon there. My pen is getting reflected upon there. So the mirror simply makes image or the image illumination of the object. We are talking pen, pencil, paper, hard drive, all those things, but they are objects, alien objects. At the same time, this mode, this paryay also makes the illumination of the eternal soul substance also. This is paryay, remember. Now separate them and take paryay outside and just say, what does this paryay's job? Is to illuminate everything. It's a mirror. So mirror illuminates alien objects, mirror illuminates self also. For example, if it is a lamp, lamp illuminates the whole room and lamp illuminates the self also. Same way, this mode, this paryay, illuminates the self, means eternal soul substance, and all the attribute, they are reflected in this mode, and the alien objects are reflected. Where should be my aim out of these two things? My aim has to be primarily on the eternal soul substance and its all infinite attribute in the indivisible form. If I put the attention there, then my Paramatma, which is there since time infinite. I'm the Paramatma, you are the Paramatma, we are this pure soul, substance-wise.
This eternal, the eternal pure
soul.
ધ્રુવ તત્વ છે એ પરમાત્મા છે ને,
જે ત્રિકાળી દ્રવ્ય છે એ દ્રવ્યનું પર્યાયમાં પ્રતિભાસ થયો. એ પ્રતિભાસ પર મેં જ્યારે ધ્યાન દોર્યું ત્યારે અહો, આવો મારો શુદ્ધ આત્મા છે, આવું મારું ત્રિકાળી સ્વરૂપ છે, એ જ્યારે મને સમજમાં આવ્યું, સમ્યક દર્શન.
ને પણ પરમાત્મા તો જે ધ્રુવ તત્વ છે તે જ પરમાત્મા છે ને,
એ જ પરમાત્મા, એ જ આત્મા ને એ જ પરમાત્મા. પરમ એટલે
પછી અહીંયા એમ કેમ કહે છે કે પર્યાયમાં પરમાત્મા થયા?
પરમાત્મા એટલે પર્યાયમાં અનુભૂતિ થઈ ને, પર્યાયમાં અનુભૂતિ થઈ. પરમાત્મા તો તમે પરમાત્મા છો, હું પરમાત્મા છું, આપણે પરમાત્મા જ છીએ બધા, પણ આપણું ધ્યાન ત્યાં દોર્યું નથી. હવે પર્યાયની અંદર એ પરમાત્મા ઝળકે છે દરરોજ, એક એક ક્ષણે, પણ એના ઉપર મેં ધ્યાન દોર્યું નથી. જ્યારે હું ધ્યાન દોરું છું ત્યારે બીજી બધી વસ્તુ જગતની ગૌણ થાય છે અને આ એક જ મારું ધ્યાન રહેશે, તો એને પર્યાયમાં પરમાત્મા પ્રગટ્યો એમ કહ્યું. પ્રગટ્યો એટલે હતો તો ખરો જ દરરોજ, એના પર મારું ધ્યાન ગયું. જેમ પેલા બાળકને એની માં એને વાલ બતાવે છે ત્યારે એનું રડવાનું બંધ થઈ જાય છે, એને ઘા વાગ્યો છે, પહેલા અત્યારે ચીસ પાડતો હતો, અત્યારે શાંત થયો, કેમ કે એનું ધ્યાન માં તરફ ગયું. એવી રીતે જ્યારે મારી અંદર આ પર્યાયની અંદર આત્મા ઝળકે છે, પર પદાર્થ પણ ઝળકે છે, મારું તે વખતે ધ્યાન પર પદાર્થ પર છે અનાદિકાળથી, એટલે મને આત્મા દેખાતો નથી, ઝળકે છે છતાં દેખાતો નથી. પણ હવે જયારે મેં ધ્યાન દોર્યું ત્યારે બીજી બધી વસ્તુ ગૌણ થઈ ગઈ મારા માટે. એ છે ને હજી આપણે એટલે એની 17 ગાથાની અંદર બહુ જ સુંદર વર્ણન આપ્યું છે. એની અંદર આપણે જયારે આવશે ને ત્યારે તમને it gives tremendous immense happiness when we know, my God, how much Acharya Bhagwan has said for us, how much things he has kept for us to understand all these things.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chalo, I'm sorry for taking more time, but I want to make sure that this stanza comes, we finish this stanza, so next time we can start the next one, okay? All right. Javani ke gyan se sujhe lokayo, sovani mastaka namo sada deta hu do. Nobana mukantra. Jai Janendra. Michami Dukram.